Members of the Duke Law School class of 2020, family members, friends, faculty, and staff, good morning, and welcome to the Class of 2020 Recognition Ceremony. I'm Carrie Abrams. I'm Carrie Abrams, Dean of the Law School, and I am delighted that you have all joined us today. It is no exaggeration to say that we have been waiting for this day for the last 18 months. We all remember the uncertainty and fear that gripped the world during the spring of 2020. The rapid spread of the COVID-19 pandemic forced almost everyone into lockdown and moved much of our life and work online, including the work of this university. For our third-year JD students and for our LLM students, this was an especially upsetting disruption, as it was your final semester at the law school and we wouldn't get another chance to see you in person before you completed your education and received your degree. On behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration, let me be the first to welcome you back to Duke as alumni of this great institution. It is particularly special to see so many of your loved ones with you. Over the last year and a half, the need to keep each other safe has isolated many of us from our family and friends and disrupted important rites of passage, like graduations. I know that watching your child, grandchild, partner, or parent cross the stage today will be as much of a thrill for you as it is for them, perhaps even more so. Many friends and family members who cannot be here in person today are celebrating with our graduates via live stream. Friends and family, thank you for being here, whether in person or remotely, and for all you have done to support the members of the class of 2020. We are here today to recognize a unique class of law students. The more than 300 members of the class of 2020 are unique, not just because they were the first to graduate, having taken classes on Zoom and final exams from home. They were also the first class to hold their graduation celebration online, with family and friends watching live from around the world. As is our tradition, two graduating students, Kareem Mziani and Donovan Stone, were selected by their classmates to give remarks, and they were joined on the virtual stage by a distinguished Duke Law faculty member, Professor Walter Dellinger. Let's take a few minutes to remember that very special event.
I don't know about the rest of you, but when I entered law school, I felt a bit overwhelmed. In fact, it would be fair to say that I truly had no idea what was going on. Who knew we'd be going out the same way? None of us could have imagined that our law school careers would end like this. We all face tremendous uncertainty as the world continues to adapt to our new reality and as we continue to build a new normal. That's become somewhat of a buzzword over the last few weeks, everyone speculating over what the new normal might look or feel like. If you think about it though, we now have an amazing opportunity to help construct that new normal. And it is my wish for all of us that we commit to shaping a new normal that is happier, friendlier, and healthier than the old normal.
Our destiny united us at Duke. We all came here to live the American dream, and we ended up with cold calls, research papers, other readings, COVID-19, Zoom, and Zoom. Since day one, my classmates have proved me that love has no border and no nationality. That is why they became my family, mi familia, my LLM brothers and sisters. Embrace your destiny. Shine bright like a diamond, like Rihanna, and make sure that people can see how talented you are. Today, we need people like my mother, ma maman, Salimata Mziani, helping in the fight against the pandemic in hospitals. Tomorrow, we'll need you to rebuild the world shaken by COVID-19.
In almost every important respect, you can choose to be the lawyer and the person you want to be. The great qualities of being a lawyer are by and large qualities that you can conscientiously adopt. In short, a commitment to being an ethical lawyer and a good person is within your capacity. And in my half century of watching our graduates, I can tell you, but I look at the correlation between how people did on one measure, that is academic grades, and how fulfilled they were as professionals and how rewarded they were as persons, is that there was no correlation. There's no correlation. That you can choose for yourself.
Watching that video back, it may be hard for you to believe that your graduation from Duke Law School was just last year. Think about how much has happened in your lives since then. Most of you studied for and took the bar. That's an arduous experience under the best circumstances, but for you, it was also terribly chaotic with all sorts of logistical and technological challenges. Some of you moved to new cities to start new jobs, while others returned home and worked remotely, but everyone faced the challenge of navigating totally new ways of working and communicating. Think also about how much has happened in the world at large. A bitterly divisive presidential election that culminated in a violent attack on the US Capitol. The murder of George Floyd, which prompted an historic reckoning with systemic racism and police brutality. The exacerbation of horrendous disparities in access to health care, housing, and employment in the wake of a pandemic that continues to sicken many, many people every day. I realize that for many of you, these challenges may seem far removed from the work you are currently doing as lawyers. The year after I graduated from law school, I was clerking for a district court judge, and I remember how much of my time was spent hunting for the correct number of spaces in citations until I felt kind of nauseated. You might be hard-pressed to see how the kind of small bore, detail-oriented work that first-year associates, law clerks, and budding government and public interest lawyers often do can actually help the world overcome its cataclysmic problems. But let me offer a different perspective. The profession you chose when you enrolled at Duke Law School is one that is critical to the functioning of our society, our government, and the stability of our economic life. As lawyers, you have taken collective responsibility for upholding the institutions that support our democracy and reforming those institutions when they need reform. That's an enormous privilege and one that I know you all take seriously. All of the problems we have experienced over the last year as a nation are linked in some way to the failure of legal institutions to robustly respond to the needs of people or provide the justice they deserve. But the solution to that overarching problem isn't to abandon law. The solutions to all these problems require law. Lawyers provide orderly processes, such as litigation, to resolve disputes over things like elections, rather than leaving things to a mob. Lawyers are working to reform police practices to make racially motivated abuse less likely, and lawyers problem solve to break down barriers to access to justice and social services. The skills you developed here at Duke Law School are now use every day in your legal practice are skills that our society desperately needs. Good lawyers listen before they talk. They ask questions. They really try to understand the other person's perspective, even if they think they disagree with them, especially if they disagree with them. They look for points of common interest so that they can avoid spending time and money on issues that don't need to be fought over. Lawyers, contrary to public opinion, are usually conflict resolvers. not conflict creators. We need lawyers, maybe now more than ever. So let me take this opportunity to congratulate you and thank you for choosing this profession. We need lawyers. We need the class of 2020. And I'm proud to call you graduates of Duke Law School. It is now my privilege to introduce the first of two special speakers, both of them Duke Law alumni. Our first speaker is Maddie Muma, a member of the class of 2020. Maddie is a Durham native and graduated from Duke University with a degree in psychology and global health. At Duke Law, she served as Duke Bar Association president, executive director of the Duke Law Innocence Project, vice president of the Government and Public Interest Society, a lead articles editor for Law and Contemporary Problems, a research assistant for the Wilson Center for Science and Justice, and a member of Duke Law Mock Trial. She graduated Duke Law with a certificate in public interest and public service law. After graduation, she served a one-year term as a law clerk for the Honorable Judge Robin L. Rosenberg of the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida. And she currently serves as a law clerk for the Honorable Gregory A. Phillips on the 10th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. Maddie.
Thank you, Dean Abrams. Take this off. I want to begin by thanking everyone at the law school, especially those in the alumni and events offices who helped to make this ceremony happen. We are all so appreciative of your efforts. When Dean Abrams asked me to speak today, I won't lie, I was hesitant. Donovan and Kareem had already given two wonderful speeches to our classes in May 2020. And as we all know, those guys are two of the greatest humans out there. Seriously. So why in the world would I want to follow them? But some good friends told me to take a beat, something I'm not known to do, and consider this offer as the great honor that it was. So I got myself together and accepted. And then I panicked, something I am known to do. What could I say that wouldn't be completely embarrassing? And what could I say that has not already been said ad nauseum over the past 16 months? I had no interest in discussing these unprecedented or uncertain times. We know that 2020 was not the ideal year to graduate and begin our legal careers. But I eventually saw this as a chance to share how far our classes have come in the short time since we left Duke. Gone are the days of choking down de novo coffee to make it through an 8 a.m. class, wondering if people will remember your particularly awful cold call, getting into deep philosophical arguments about whether the library should be quiet, fighting for a spot in the overly crowded Science Drive garage, which had shockingly good views from its roof, and watching those of us in Section 5 generally dominate. These were the things that were on our minds pre-pandemic. But armed with our Zoom-endowed law degrees, you all have been up to some inspiring things since we last saw Duke. And I'm grateful for this unique opportunity to share our class's ability to make a positive impact in the world before we come back totally jaded at our 5-year reunion. Except for those of us in Section 5, we will remain forever youthful and continue to win everything. And so, with a bit of inspiration from Dean Hoy's Lead Week speech, in which he listed the many impressive and intimidating accomplishments of our classmates, here is a peek at what the members of the JD and LLM classes of 2020 have accomplished so far, as reported by them. We sat through the bar exam, some from our homes with spotty Wi-Fi, terrified of being flagged for cheating, some from fairgrounds with 800 of our closest friends during a pandemic. Many of us became the first attorneys in history to be sworn into the bar wearing blazers and pajama bottoms. Some even took leadership roles in our bar associations, paving the way for a new generation of lawyers. Many of us restarted our lives in new cities, and started work without the support of an in-person work environment. Some of us got lucky and love our new jobs and coworkers. Others recognized that their work environment wasn't for them and bravely took the initiative to make a change. Many of us have done important pro bono work, from obtaining a domestic violence restraining order for a friend, to helping Black-owned small businesses and startups thrive, to drafting briefs and motions in support of women's reproductive rights and the reunification of families separated at the border. Still, others have done the most righteous work of all, closing multi-million-dollar M&A and restructuring deals. Some of us spend our days drafting high-impact orders for state and federal judges, such as compassionate release orders that gave incarcerated individuals a second chance at freedom. Others have assisted with weeks-long trials before those same judges. And one of us became the youngest adjunct professor in the history of law schools in Iceland. As for our lives outside of work, which apparently most of us still have, we have been busy. Many of us celebrated engagements and marriages. In fact, 2 couples who met during law school got married. Special shout out to the newlyweds, the very newlyweds, Grace and Joey D'Antonio, who got married this past Thursday. 2 of us had babies. Some of us adopted puppies, learned to make scones from scratch, watched an absurd amount of TV, and managed to keep our plants alive. Some of us overcame very difficult health diagnoses, and many spent the year trying to strike the right balance between family time and work. A couple of us bought houses that now take up most of our free time, and some of us became financially independent. You're welcome, parents. But when asked what you were most proud of accomplishing this past year, one answer was far and beyond the most common, and I was happy to see that it was unrelated to work. Most of us were proudest of having maintained and strengthened relationships with family and friends, old and new, during a largely virtual year, including with our Duke Law classmates. That's quite the accomplishment given all that we've been through. So well done, everyone. I am so grateful to have had the privilege of going through law school with you all, to graduate with you all, and now to see and hear about all of the impressive and intimidating things you have already achieved in your work and personal lives. I know I speak for everyone here when I say we can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Maddie. I'm so glad that you accepted the invitation. Our distinguished speaker today is Nita Farahani, the Robinson O. Everett Professor of Law and Professor of Philosophy. Professor Farahani is a member of the Duke Law School class of 2004 and the winner of the Distinguished Teaching Award from our students in the class of 2021. Professor Farahani is a leading scholar on the ethical, legal, and social implications of emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence. The founding director of Duke Science and Society, she is also the chair of the Duke Master's Program in Bioethics and Science Policy, and the director of the Science, Law, and Policy Lab, which is affectionately known as the SLAP Lab. She is a frequent commentator for national media and radio shows and presents her work to diverse audiences, including the World Economic Forum, Aspen Ideas Festival, TED, judicial conferences for the U.S. Court of Appeals, the American Association for the Advancement of Science, National Academies of Science workshops, and the American Society for Political and Legal Philosophy, as well as by testifying before Congress. In 2010, she was appointed by President Obama to the Presidential Commission for the Study of Bioethical Issues and served in that capacity until 2017. We are delighted to have her here today to address the class of 2020. Professor Farahani.
Don't know where to put that. Graduates, parents, friends, and colleagues, good morning and welcome. I'm truly honored to address you, the class of 2020, who join me here today as fellow Duke Law alums and colleagues. It's also a privilege to be joined by your parents, your friends, your family, here and remotely. This class is here because of your guidance, your love, and your support. Having weathered some of the most difficult times in modern history, they wouldn't be here without you. Class of 2020, you are here today, almost a year and a half after you should have been, because of what we now understand to be the worst pandemic in US history. It has brought turmoil, tragedy, and drastic changes to our lives and the lives of others worldwide. We didn't know what was unfolding in the spring of 2020 when your graduation should have occurred. It was a time of great uncertainty, of unfamiliar lockdowns and shifting ground beneath us as we were all gripped with the fear of the unknown. You know this already, of course. You know why we couldn't celebrate together and in person the wonderful milestone of your graduation from Duke Law School. But the fact that you're here today, that means that you realize the importance of marking together in person the occasion of your graduation and celebrating your accomplishments with your friends and your colleagues, which coincidentally is what I want to talk with you about today. The importance of celebration for resilience, character, and for living a meaningful life. First, celebration helps you mark progress toward your life goals. Like most people, you probably spend a lot of your time thinking about the future. Before law school, during, and since, you have focused on your ambitions, how to achieve them, and how you're progressing toward your goals. This is important to do because it sets you up for success. But focusing too much on what comes next might lead you to forget how much you've already accomplished. Think about it. Before today, when was the last time that you really stopped to celebrate an accomplishment? When I returned back to Duke as a law professor, having graduated from the school 8 years prior, I had this really strange feeling as I walked the hallways. I felt like I was right back at the starting line. Rationally, I knew I had taken a big step forward, but emotionally, it just wouldn't compute. So I decided to do something about it. I threw a party to celebrate the occasion. And you know what? Doing that helped me to gain the perspective that I needed to see the extraordinary progress that I had actually made. Maybe you just landed a new job or quit one that wasn't right for you. Maybe you carved out time to support a friend before their big move, or started a new hobby or a sport. The moment could be a big one, like graduating or passing the bar, or a small one, like finally getting your dormant orchid to bloom. Whatever your accomplishment, each one is preceded by deliberation, energy, and dedication, which is meaningful and deserves to be recognized. Even a small step toward a larger goal is worth celebrating, and it helps you to see your progress forward in life. And it just might help you to gain the perspective you need, like I gained when I came back to Duke. Second, celebrating helps you to build on your momentum and to set your sights even higher in life. Landed your dream job? Awesome. Now it's time to think about how to be great in that role. Contributed in some small way to advance the public good? Great. Aim to do even more to help society. Celebrate your wins at work and in life so that you realize you're on a roll. When you take time to reflect and celebrate what you've accomplished, it helps you to realize what you're made of, your unique talents and your strengths. You can build on that confidence to have an even greater impact on the world around you. Third, when you celebrate your accomplishments, you help others know what matters the most to you in life. As the pandemic has unfolded, issues that I've long written about and opined on have gone from academic inquiry to startling reality. From rationing medical care to balancing individual liberties and the common good, vaccine passports and mandates, I've publicly engaged on some of the most difficult choices facing society today. As graduates of Duke Law School, you have and will find yourself similarly faced with opportunities to bring your expertise to bear on some of the most important issues facing society today. As you do so, take the time to celebrate the opportunities that you have and the contributions that you make. Humility is a virtue, and it's critical to human flourishing, but humility and valuing your own achievements can peacefully coexist. Your friends and your family or boss might highlight your wins and congratulate you for your accomplishments, but you will oftentimes be the best judge of what truly warrants celebration in your own life. Don't brush off your hard work as insignificant. Recognize it and allow others to recognize you too. When you value yourself, it helps others value you for what really matters to you. Fourth, by celebrating your own accomplishments, you will become far more aware of the accomplishments of those around you, and you'll celebrate their wins too. Just like you might need to nudge your friends and your family and your colleagues to celebrate the wins that really matter to you, they might be waiting for a heartfelt congratulations from you. Spending time reflecting and celebrating on your own accomplishments will help you to notice the achievements of those around you. Keep an eye out for their wins and toast them often. Recognizing others helps you hone your humility and build a winning character. Recently, I noticed there was a comment that somebody had posted on Twitter, directed at Simone Biles, the most phenomenal gymnast of all time. The comment said, "Jade would have won floor gold even with Simone in the finals." To which Simone Biles responded, "I 100% agree. Jade had a phenomenal, near-perfect routine. She would have kicked my ass. My jaw was on the floor. I'm so proud and happy for her." It takes character and class to recognize and build up others around you, even when somebody's trying to tear you down. You can't beat someone down when they're lifting others up. Celebrating others elevates you just as you're elevating them. Fifth, celebrations give you the space to reflect on what really matters to you in life. As our lives have been stripped down over the past year and a half, and we've had a chance to really notice what we miss and what we don't, we've been able to start to find out what really matters to us. Take a really trivial example from my own life. It used to matter to me that I fly enough on an airline every year to gain elite status for the perks of first class upgrades and moving through the airport more efficiently. And I would toast the occasion of elite status annually. But you know what I do not miss at all? Getting on an airplane. It's hard to imagine a future version of my life when airline elite status matters to me again. Which is why it's so important that when you stop to celebrate certain accomplishments, you pause and ask yourself, does this feel as good as I thought it would? Is the achievement as important to me now as it was when I set out to accomplish it? Does it line up with how I want to live my life? And as you reflect, remember that achievements might sometimes be failures in disguise. At our family dinner every night, we go around the table and we ask each person to celebrate something that they tried and failed to accomplish that day. We do that because having the courage to try something new and failing at it isn't always easy. And sometimes failing at something new is a bigger deal than doing more of what you're already good at. So take time to reflect on the things that you bravely set out to do and celebrate your courage for having challenged yourself anew. 6, celebrate even in difficult times. You might think that right now isn't a great time to celebrate as we grapple with the devastating consequences of COVID-19. In your first year of law school, I was grappling with our then recent family tragedy and my new appreciation for the fragility of human life. But it is celebration that has helped me move through my own grief. And it is celebration and joy that will help you gain the resilience you need to navigate even the most difficult times in your life and in the world. Cultivating a tradition of celebration helps you to experience joy and gratitude, which you can draw on during complex, unpredictable, and exhausting times, like the one we're in right now. Sometimes it takes extraordinary effort to choose to celebrate when we feel like we're just trying to survive. But it may be that our darkest hours are the most important ones to reach for things to celebrate in life. Celebrations, big or small, give us something to look forward to. to lift our spirits up and help buffer us against the heartache we inevitably endure as we face tragedies in life. It may be a while before we can really celebrate in the ways that we were all used to, but even lighting a candle alone at home can help us see light in times of darkness. Finally, celebrations help give us the breaks that we need to flourish in life. Many of you know me as the neuroscience law professor. Even in criminal law, I talked with you a lot about your brains. Unsurprisingly then, my final appeal for you to celebrate is for the sake of your brain. Celebration works wonders on your brain. It bathes your brain in dopamine and elevates your feel-good hormones while decreasing your cortisol levels, your stress hormones. Burnout is all too common as we approach a mental health crisis of epic proportions worldwide. Being overworked and too busy can often feel like a badge of honor, and downtime and balance can seem like guilty pleasures. But our brains are like sponges that can only soak up so much before they're saturated and they need time to dry out. Every now and then, your brain needs a feel-good break to improve your mood, boost your performance, and increase your ability to concentrate. Brain breaks help us to gain the big insights in life we need to know ourselves and to have the impact we want to on the world around us. Pop open that bottle of champagne just because it's hump day. Celebrate your act of kindness to another. Go for a walk to celebrate and reflect on your accomplishments. Find ways to celebrate big and small, not just momentous occasions like your graduation from law school, but everyday wins too. Before you turn your focus back to your next big challenge and life goal, take some time, belatedly as it is, to really soak up your accomplishment of graduating from law school. Our celebrations may not look like they used to. They may be smaller, masked, and more distanced from one another. But it's never been more important to find new ways to mark the occasion. You have already achieved so much to be here today. I'm so glad that you're here to celebrate that, and I'm honored to be part of your celebration. Remember to drop me a line now and again and tell me about your wins, big and small. Along with your friends, family, and colleagues, I'll be here cheering you on. Congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Farahani, for your inspiring words and your important service to the law school, university, and society. We now come to the recognition of our graduates. Each of you has been presented with an academic hood. The hoods you received are lined in blue and white to represent Duke University and trimmed in purple velvet to represent the field of law. I ask the following people to rise and assist in recognizing members of the class of 2020. Associate Dean for International Studies, Oleg Kobelev. Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, Louis Hutchison. And Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Liz Gustafson. As you walk across the stage, I will be presenting you with a gift, and there is a photographer, so please pause for a moment to pose. Let's begin.
I now present the graduates with the degree of Master of Laws. Amna Saif Al-Naimi. Diane Amada. Camila Bajestars Posi. Sean Barber. Francisco Bianchetti. Gabrielle Boucher Calamo. Tiago Cunha. Jose Del Pozo. Christian Garcia Chavez. Franco Yervasi. Luis Gonzalez Ludlow. Chineri Tatiana Gutierrez Robledo. Manuel Martinez Perez. Flavia Kiriolo Nicolini Flacker. Andrea Carolina Rojas Rosa. Cindy Liliana Runceria Rodriguez. Giselle Sandoval Martinez. Diego Ricardo Varela Rivera. Francisco Vial. Tobias Wetlitsky. I now present the graduate with the degree of the Master of Laws in Law and Entrepreneurship, Joshua Toman.
It is my pleasure to present the graduates with the degree of Juris Doctor. Amy Samantha Whitacombe. Alishawn Iqbal Alibi. Nabia Aziz. Joseph William Bear. Farah Berra. Magna Kamla Batra. Daniel Berman. Danielle Lauren Bembry. Amber Renee Black. Taylor Lucky Brennan. Rochelle Melanie Broida. Eric Spencer Buchanan. Bailey Vernon Cage. Joseph Warren Caputo. Yunhua Choi. Aaron Cho. Christian Nicole Kraft. James Henry Crisp. Joseph Andrew D'Antonio. David Allen Davis, Jr. Taryn Faye DePalma. Colin Dale Edwards. Lucas Fernandez Rocha. David Keith Gardner. Deborah Kim Grinhouse. Caitlin Maureen Hefner. Tiffany J. Hahn. Robert Forrest Hartsmith. Jerome Patrick Hughes. Stephen Mustafa Jabber. Lauren Elizabeth Jackson. Michelle Nicole Jackson. Chavis Trevon Jones. Craig Forrest Jones. Quentin Rodney Jorgensen. Kira Grace Latham. Samuel Noah Liebman. Jonathan Reed Litzy. Anna Maria Maganto Ramirez. Bryce Elaine May. Michael Bradford McCarty. Melinda Salome Matthew. Ian Keith Morrison. James Robert Moxley IV. James Danladuc Murray. Colleen Morea O'Leary. Samantha Ray Olson. Michael Thomas Paslovsky. Tracy Christine Petcher. Natalie Marie Pita. Corbin Mitchell Poppy. Caitlin Marie Posa. Dalton Morgan Powell. Catherine Ruffin Prater. Grace Arias Ramirez. Anna Raphael. Tess Savannah Rogers. Mark Montgomery Rothrock. Gustavo Ruiz. Christopher Robert Suba. Jonathan Ariel Schwartz. Kayla Marie Scott. Megan Wren Sharkey. Sean Sheen. Ian Mitchell Sigalo. Jack Connery Smith. Samantha Nicole Smith. Peter Herbert Spring. Donovan James Stone. Alexander Diane Tate. Stephanie Lynette Turner. Michael Robert Wada. Jason Seth Wasserman. Daniel Stephen Weston. Emma S. Wheeler. Charles Gordon White. Nicole Elise Whitstein. Matthew Bennett Wright. Jason Jaiching Shi. Jishuan Shao. Tom Yu. Diamond J.C. Zambrano. Tyler Zellinger. Alexandra Center. And your class speaker this time, Madison Hope Muma. Dean Abrams, I present to you the class of 2020.
I think that is yet another unprecedented event. I haven't heard such a long standing ovation for a graduating class in my several years as dean. Congratulations to you all. This has been such a wonderful morning. Thank you to our speakers, to our faculty and staff, graduates, guests, for joining us to celebrate the achievements of this truly remarkable class. At the conclusion of the ceremony, we invite you to walk back to the law school for photos and opportunities to visit outdoors for a celebration that we need to have. We will have gift bags for graduates, including gift cards for use at the Washington Duke Inn and Golf Club. And the law school building will be open for you to visit and walk through with friends and family, just in case you didn't really get to say goodbye to it when we suddenly shut down a year and a half ago. Thank you again, all of you, and another heartfelt congratulations to the class of 2020. Our faculty will exit the stadium first, followed by the graduates, and then I ask the rest of the audience to stay in their seats until the recessional has ended. Please rise for the recessional.